Are you having trouble connecting with families enrolled in your program? Are you looking for concrete action steps to engage families? Look no further. The Strengthening Families Protective Factors Self-Assessment has plenty of recommendations for you. Check them out and see which ideas you've already implemented and which ones you would like to plan for. This document is called the Strengthening Families Self-Assessment. The word assessment can overwhelm us into negative thinking that we should somehow be doing all of these actions mentioned in these pages. Take a deep breath and know that no program can implement every single idea in this 54-page document. Just take what you need. A few things to keep in mind. This is a tool to help programs assess how well they're doing at promoting the protective factors with families through their interactions, policies, and activities. FCC providers and center-based providers have different versions of the self-assessment with strategies relevant to their context. Ideally, the self-assessment should be completed with a team of different stakeholders such as administration staff like a director, early childhood supervisor, or family worker, also a teacher, a support staff, a parent, an intern or volunteer, etc., just to gather differing viewpoints. The team can take 3 different approaches. Complete only the Tier 1 items in the first round, work on one protective factor at a time, or complete the entire self-assessment before creating an action plan. The important thing is to keep coming back to the self-assessment for creating further goals at least annually. Now for the fun part, let's complete a tiny part of the self-assessment together. Let's scroll to page 8. On page 8, we are exploring ideas to support parental resilience. Let's read the question. How do programs honor each family's race, language, culture, history, and approach to parenting? Let's read the standard 1.8. An effort is made to ensure that program information and outreach materials are linguistically and culturally appropriate and inclusive. Materials are designed or selected to reflect the cultures of the program community. Now stop and think. Ask yourself some questions. Do I have materials that reflect the culture of the community I work with? Do I collect information about the culture of the families? Do I know the different communities that are part of my program? Who are they? Do my brochures, flyers, parent resource binders reflect the faces of these people who are part of my program community? After reflecting on these questions, I'm going to mark Standard 1.8.1 as agree. Now let's read Standard 1.8.2. Materials are designed or selected to reflect all kinds of family structures, including families with same-sex parents. Now, I think to myself, do I represent all family structures on my Facebook page, website, and curriculum brochures? I realize that the photographs and pictures represent only heterosexual 2-parent families and grandparents. I decide to mark 1.8.2 as disagree because my outreach materials need to have pictures of racially diverse families, same-sex parent families, and differently abled families, and more. I have to put some thought into this. I'm thinking of that family with 2 fathers and 2 children. They missed their appointment for touring the center, and I had just sent them the website. I wonder if it's possible that they're not seeing the type of diversity they would like to see. Now that I have this insight, I think I know how I can improve my outreach materials to reach diverse families. All right, I think we made some progress there. You can choose to work on one section at a time while working on the self-assessment, so that you have time to reflect. And I highly recommend using highlighters to mark the ideas or standards that particularly speak to you in terms of action steps. Highlighting your favorite ideas will be useful when you create an action plan based on the self-assessment. The Strengthening Families Protective Factors Action Plan is essential for you so you can implement into action all that good thinking you did with your team. Also, the action plan is essential to meet GNJK Kit Standard 3.4.1. The action plan is simply a compilation of 3 to 5 main concrete action steps that you plan to implement during the current school year. This action plan is updated every year based on the self-assessment and parent surveys. It's time to create an action plan. It's recommended that you work on the action plan with the team who will be helping you to implement this plan. Teams are motivated to work when they're part of the decision-making process. This is the Strengthening Families Protective Factors Action Plan template. Let's fill it out together based on the standard 1.8 that we were just looking at on the self-assessment. We're working on the protective factor parental resilience. I'm going to copy-paste the standard 1.8.2 here as I had highlighted it as something I wanted to work on. Now it's time to ask myself a few questions to help me fill out the columns. The first column, expected results. What results am I expecting to get from meeting this standard? I want every kind of family to feel welcome in my program. Resources needed. What do I need to meet this goal? To improve my marketing materials, I need to know who lives in my community, so I need to study the demographics of the community that I live in. I need to gather stock photos of diverse families so that I can use these pictures for my marketing materials. I'm going to list all the different types of families I can think of in this column. Whenever we create action plans, it is essential for us to decide who will be responsible for carrying out these action steps and have a deadline by when we need this completed. I'm thinking about how much time it would take for my family worker to find and study the demographics of the community based on her current workload. How much time would it take for me to procure the stock photos for our use? And by when can I provide this information to the school principal who is ultimately responsible for all the marketing materials that go out on behalf of our program? I'm putting down the dates accordingly. Applaud yourself on making progress with the self-assessment and action plan. You're one step closer to meeting your goals for family engagement. Consult your TAS for further guidance on your specific program's needs. Thank you for watching this video.